This is Overtime with Chris Dewar, only on KHQA.
Well, this is Saturday, October 15th, and you have entered Overtime, or as we call it these days, man versus fall, maybe even man versus road. The postseason highlight bonanza is upon us, and accordingly, we've done our best to step up our game with playoff highlights galore from the links, the pitch, and the diamond. Plus, we have high school football matinee action for you today, headlined by the most critical test yet for undefeated Central Southeastern on the road, no less. Not to mention all of your usual college gridiron hijinks, or lack thereof this day. But we start with the region's resident and reigning sports dynasty, Palmyra softball, looking for its fifth state appearance in 6 years. They're the homestanders in the quarterfinals against Westphalia Fatima. In a jam, that's Kendra Hens doing what she does best, unjamming things with a strikeout. Leading off the second, she helps her own cause right here, hits this one to the wall, and cruises in with a stand-up triple. That would set the table for Katie Hinkle. Katie spelled with 2 E's, and she was worth every one of them today as she lays down the perfect squeeze bunt. And that, my friends, gives Palmyra a 1-0 lead at that point. More to come now. Third inning, Kelsey Martin uses her speed right here to swipe second base, setting the table. As she's moved up to third, she would score on a wild pitch here, extending Palmyra's lead out to 2-0. Later, the bases loaded for Katie Serban, or excuse me, should say bases empty for Katie Serban. Wish they would have been loaded because this, my friends, was majestic. Solo home run extends the lead to 3-0 at that point. Miss Hens just working her way out of jams today, including one in the final inning. This was a tighter game than one would have expected, but Palmyra, as they always do, finds a way today. It is back to the Final Four for the Lady Panthers, and a showdown coming up next Friday in Springfield with East Carter, who was a winner today over Dixon. Actually, I think that game took place on Friday over Dixon, 11-10. That game, again, set for 1 o'clock in Springfield. But it's more delights for the Clarence Cannon Conference as well, because Palmyra won't be the only team there. Centralia also advancing today by virtue of a win. Big time today over Westminster. Final count was 11-0 in that game. So Centralia, or excuse me, over St. Charles, Centralia will take on Westminster on Friday in Springfield by virtue of that 11-0 victory. Could it be 3 Clarence Cannon Conference teams? Highland was trying to take care of business today against Penny, and this, my friends, was a fun game. First inning, Avery Johnston right here bunts Taylor Hamilton over to second, but she ends up getting her way all the way over to third as well. That resourcefulness would set up Ashton Luttrell, who's going to deliver the wonderful squeeze bunt right here. She's perfectly okay after that nasty collision the other night. Nice bunt right there, gives Highland a 1-0 lead. Bottom half, though, Penny would respond with a bunt right here as Julie Schultz goes to first, and that would end up scoring Elise Greenwood to make it 1-1 at that point. Schultz, though, would get out of the inning with a nasty changeup right there to get the strikeout. Later on, Miss Johnson aboard, again with a hit, this time to left, as she would set the table for Miss Schultz, who's going to go right back up the middle, right up the spine to make this a 2-2 ball game at that point. More to come from Highland. Nicole Kraft about to tattoo one right here to the wall. That would score Sarah Plant, make it 3-2 Highland at that point. We're not done in the frame. Ashlyn Lay about to make her presence felt as well with a ground rule double to come, which would score Miss Kraft and make it 4-2 at that point. And you know what? Highland looked like they were in really good shape. However, a home run ties this game back up. We go to the 7th inning. Highland takes a 5-4 lead, only to see Penny come back with 2 runs in the bottom of the frame. A heartbreaking end for the Lady Cougars as they were that close to returning to state. Penny, though, gets the win. Final count in this one was 6-5. Would the news be better in soccer? We'd sure hope so for Quincy Notre Dame. Trying to get a regional win for the first time since 2005, at least a regional championship win early on. How about Mark Anderson? When he's hot early, he's good. Makes a nice save, gets an assist there from Nathan Dreyer, who comes out of nowhere to prevent a goal from Pleasant Plains. Plains' keeper, though, pretty darn good as well. Andrew Hammerlink with a great save there. But in the first half, how about this? Taylor Reese is able to break free and break through for the goal right there to give the Raiders a 1-0 lead. You will watch it again in slow motion because this will be a restart right there. Gets tripped up. The restart almost immediately by Taylor, who puts it in. And that, my friends, would have helped Quincy Notre Dame, as you see right here, gets the win. Final count in this one on the quick restart, 1-0. So Quincy Notre Dame is moving on. Up next for them, a showdown at Raymond Lincolnwood with St. Anthony coming up on Tuesday. That game set for 4:30. How about the Macomb Bombers in action today? They upset Peoria Christian on a header. 1-0, the defending state runner-up. Trying to do the same to Monmouth-Roseville today. Goalie Blake Louderman standing on his head for the Bombers in this game with a couple of huge saves. He saved all but one today, but that was all Monmouth-Roseville would need to advance as Monmouth-Roseville gets the win over the Bombers. Jeff Moore's team, a valiant effort down the stretch, including that big upset the other night. But Macomb is eliminated by the final count of 1-0. As you see right there. Moving on now, we've got scores to pass along for you. As you see right there, Teutopolis, a 1-0 winner over Effingham, as you see as well. Moving on now, it was Teutopolis moving on, I should say, in soccer to play Q&D. How about some golf today? State action in Decatur. Hole number 1, Lucy Clark. Great second shot right here. She started the day a ways back. I believe she was in 24th place. She'd make a nice charge today. She would save par, as you will see, because that's an absolutely luscious shot. She two-putted from there to save par, finished on 20th on the day overall, so she moved up some. Jamie Earhart, her teammate from Quincy Notre Dame, entered the day in 4th place. Nice par save here on number 1 with the tricky downhill putt for Miss Earhart. She's not done. She was running really good early, and then her fortunes would change on hole number 3. How about this? The chip shot looks really good. She has that much left for par. This should have gone down, just wouldn't. 3 of the next 4 holes were bogeys for Miss Earhart. She goes from 4th to 8th place overall on the day. Still a wonderful showing for her individually and for Quincy Notre Dame, which finishes in 8th as a team. How about Sydney Holly right here, your reigning KHQA Student Athlete of the Week? Off of hole number 1, the drive right out of the gate, straight down Broadway. That would set her up here on hole number 1 as well for the wonderful approach shot. Miss Holly, who was 12th after day number 1, had her share of troubles later in the round today, ended up shooting an 87, but still a wonderful showing for her as she finished in the top 25, actually finished 26th overall. So great showing for her individually as well. And as I mentioned, Quincy Notre Dame 8th as a team, so wonderful stuff there. Also, nice state tournament for the phenom Lakin Freeze, who's come out of nowhere to become a really good golfer in a short amount of time. She finishes 73rd in the Class AA tournament in Decatur with a 2-day total of plus 36. On the boys' side today, your low local was Evan McGaffey. Had 3 eagles in the last 2 days, 2 of them each day on hole number 16, which seemed to be his favorite hole of the entire tournament. Evan McGaffey finishing 9th overall. Alex Templin from Brown County never really got it going today. Ends up finishing 32nd. He also had a top 20 finish last year. So Alex Templin with a wonderful career working at Brown County. And Alec Berry helps lead the young West Central team with a 66 today. West Central did finish in last as a team, but as we mentioned earlier this week, not a single senior anywhere on that roster. More to report now. Good news as well in Class AA. Ryan Cody from Macomb and Colin Wilson from Quincy Notre Dame, each with very strong second-day showings to bounce back a little bit, so congratulations to those 2 gentlemen as well. We've also got tennis news to pass along. For the 2nd straight year, Katie Fauble is your sectional champion at number 1 singles as she defeats Catherine Ferris of Glenwood 6-1, 6-2 to move on. By the way, for Miss Fauble, that is 27 straight singles wins as she heads off into state next week. She's not the only state advancer from the Gem City, though. Congratulations to the Quincy Notre Dame doubles tandem of Kristen Tracy and Megan McGinn. They qualified yesterday and finished 3rd in the sectional today in doubles. So congratulations to Quincy Notre Dame's wonderful, wonderful doubles team of Tracy and McGinn for their great, great showing this weekend as well. And when we come back, we will put the Central Southeastern football team to the ultimate, maybe most stringent test of the season. Plus, there's still one highly relevant local college football team out there among some of the teams that are really struggling. We'll tell you who that is coming up next. Well, welcome back to Overtime, everybody. Central Southeastern may be undefeated through its first 7 games, but it's probably not unfair to cast a somewhat skeptical eye on the Panthers' early season schedule. Central's first 7 opponents went into this week with a grand total of 13 combined wins. The Panthers' last 2 foes, pretty darn good ones in Mendota and Orion, had 12 between them, to put some perspective on it. Now, Brad Dixon's crew testing itself at a whole new level today on the road against the 4A Power in Mendota in that new stadium. How would it fare? First quarter, really bad for the Central offense. They could get nothing mustered, and it would be capped at the beginning of the second quarter with this mishap. Nathan Knuffman ready to punt. It is blocked, goes straight up in the air in a gusting wind, and it is picked off and taken in for an end zone score at that point, making it 6-0 Vikings. Next possession, though, the offense would finally come to life behind Dalton Hubner. This is really what it took. This was a 59-yard toss sweep, which kind of showed Central Southeastern that there was hay to be made to the outside, and that would change Bill Reed's play calling the rest of the day. This would end up stalling on downs, however, but on the next possession, Central Southeastern goes back outside, and it is Garrett Kessner with the spin-a-rama move and the tightrope walk down the sidelines for the 44-yard touchdown. That would put up Central Southeastern at that point 7-6 as the human muscle goes in for the score. Here's your ensuing kickoff. This is why the Division I's all love Nathan Knuffman through the uprights with distance to spare. Are you kidding me? Maybe Mendota was intimidated by that. The very next play, after running somewhat successfully, the Vikings would try to go to, or the Trojans, I should say, would try to go to the air, and that is picked off right there by Marcus Landis, which would set the table yet again. 4th down, thought maybe Bill Reed, the offensive coordinator, would call for a field goal at this point. No. 4th and 6, they're going to give the ball to their all-state candidate, and Garrett Kessner is going to deliver the touchdown to put his team up 14-6 at that point. Oh, the defense nasty. Brad Dixon doing a great job coaching these kids up all week long, and Mr. Landis, again, is going to be in the middle of it, as after that initial first drive where Mendota would get down into the red zone, they could not do anything in the rest of the first half against the Central Southeastern defense. Second half, Central Southeastern gets the ball first, and it is the big man faking out everybody, Nathan Knuffman, on his first carry. This, my friends, is a carry of 56 yards on down to the 30-yard line. You know what? Second play, why not let the big fella do it all? And this time he fakes out no one, including me. Well, he faked out the Mendota defense in this one, going in for the score, extending Central Southeastern's lead to 21-6. More defense to come right here. How about big Zach Dively getting into the backfield, making the tackle for loss on that outstanding running game, that sort of shotgun wing tee. Yes, Brad Dixon very pleased with the defense at that point. However, eventually Mendota would break through right here, making it 21-12 at this point with the touchdown by Evan Carroll, the outstanding back. You know what? Trying to look for more. Down still, 21-12, and getting the ball back after turning around Central Southeastern on downs on 3rd down. Big stop right there by Austin Dormeyer. And on 4th and 1, look at Nathan Knuffman step up and stop the momentum. And that, my friends, would set up a touchdown of 1 yard from Jonah Cogashell, and this 2-point conversion by Garrett Kessner, which would put the game away for good. Kessner, another big day rushing. The 2 touchdowns on the day. He also had 135 yards rushing. Nathan Knuffman had 180 yards rushing as well, as Central Southeastern is, in fact, legit, everybody. Say what you want about the first 7 wins. You can't quibble about this one, as Central Southeastern gets the huge win and a chance to go 9-0 next week if they can beat Orion at home. By virtue of today's victory, Central Southeastern is assured of hosting a playoff game, so that'll be big fun for the football-crazed fans in Camp Point these days. We had other football today. Must-win situation for Illini West. You know what? Caden Guyman would respond. Second play from scrimmage, in from 55 yards out. The Illini West Chargers go nuts from that point forward with the offense. Nice to see them getting things rolling a little bit, as Cole Carson, had 3 touchdowns in the day, 2 of them rushing, 1 passing. Illini West must win next week to have a chance to get in. They will be playing Sherrard. Sherrard might have been the favorite in that game until you see this score. Pittsfield, Grigsville Perry with the big upset win today on the road. They did it without Dylan Butler, their outstanding wide receiver, who missed the game due to an injury. Dalton Smith picking up much of the slack today with 127 yards rushing. Look at the Pittsfield defense holding Sherrard to 20 points. Don Bigley's team, after struggling so early with that defense, kind of found a little bit of groove. Too late to make the playoffs, but nice momentum perhaps building forward for next season. Let's do some college football now. Western Illinois on the road, needing a win to keep its postseason hopes alive against Indiana State. Much improved Indiana State. Here is Josh Hudson with his team down 13-0, rolling out, and he would find Aaron Muhammad in the end zone to make it 13-7. Now it's 19-7 again. The Leathernecks knocking at the door, and this time it's Colton Ray from short yardage in from 2 yards out to cut that lead down to 19-14. Big play in the game coming up right here. Josh Hudson going to go deep right here. The juggling catch by the outstanding Turian Crump right there as he pulls it in for 36 yards after a debate. It is ruled a catch. The very next play, that would set up Mr. Hudson again. Josh Hudson going to go back up to Aaron Muhammad, quickly becoming a safety valve receiver of the highest order in the end zone. That cuts the Sycamores' lead at that point to 26-21. Western's run defense, though, could not answer the call against Shakir Bell, who was just awesome today for the Sycamores. You remember a couple of years ago when Indiana State lost to Quincy University? Those days are well behind the Sycamores. Look at Shakir Bell. He had 213 yards rushing on the ground. This one is a 47-yard scamper. Big plays today. Undoubtedly the undoing of the Leatherneck defense, as it would be a big, big win for Indiana State today. Mark Hendrickson said, pretty much self-inflicted wounds. The difference is Western Illinois goes down to defeat.
I would say, right now, within today's game, unfortunately, the key word for the Leatherneck side of the ball was inconsistency, and that makes it frustrating. You do some things well on offense, and then you have a turnover in the first half. We did that several times, obviously. And then the second half, we allow those big runs. First half allowed a few big passes. Second half, big runs. So a lot of snaps we played well, but obviously not well enough on the majority of snaps.
Western Illinois' playoff hopes fading very, very quickly. Probably have to win out from here on out. I don't know that they can afford another loss at this point. Kind of an ugly loss to have happen on the road. Meanwhile, we mentioned there is one team in our area, college-wise, who's absolutely shining right now. That is the 6-1 Blue Boys of Illinois College, who win yet again, this time on the road against Knox today. Cecil Brimage had a 98-yard touchdown run today. Illinois College doesn't get a lot of credit for its running game. You add that to what Michael Bates is doing at quarterback, and I tell you what, Illinois College is rolling, currently tied for second in the Midwest Conference behind Monmouth right now. Look out for the Blue Boys back home next week. You know what? For the last couple of years, it's been hard to find meaningful October college football in our area. Garrett Campbell's team going to provide it next week, and we'll be there to bring you those highlights right here coming up on Overtime. Wish I had better news for Quincy University against the number one team in the country. That ain't happening. St. X today, a big winner at home over Quincy University, 48-14 your final there. Truman State falls in Joplin to Missouri Southern, 24-17. Culver Stockton with a winnable game on paper today against Avila. Late in the third, Avila's up 20-6. Avila quarterback Mark Benavides right here picks up 15 yards and the first down. Avila trying to get the run again, but this time it is Culver Stockton's Kyle Heberlein able to get to Benavides right there for the no gain. Pivotal third down coming up for Avila, but this is Josh McEwen, the pride at North Shelby, coming up with a nice pick right here, giving it back to Culver Stockton. But Culver Stockton never could really get the offense rolling at a tempo they would have wanted. Jeff Dubendek's team today struggling to get that offense established. They could only score 13 points, 2 of those off early field goals, and that was really the difference in the ball game as Avila wins today. I believe Avila was winless coming into this. They are winless no more. Road win over Culver Stockton, 27-13. Was your final there. Let's go back to the high school docket. We have volleyball for you today. Quincy High School taking on Alleman. Alleman tries to return the serve. Serve received, not good when Monica Bumbry is around, putting this back on the other side. Then it's Lexi Fries with the short tap over the net for the point. It is soft, but finesse could be effective. More to come right here. Super setter India Green hooking up right here with Miss Lexi, who's going to throw down hard yet again. If you wondering, Quincy High had no problems yet again today. This time it is Abby Foster serving for Ace. She is a darn good server and unbelievably underrated on the back line. Just a wonderful player. More from Miss Green, this time setting up Monica Bumbry, the super sophomore, throwing down hard, and then Michaela Llewellyn into the act as well as Quincy High rolls over Alleman in straight games today. No real surprise to anybody as the Quincy High volleyball team may be our best bet out of anyone. Got a tough postseason road, but right now they look like the most dominant team in our area of any sort this fall. Elsewhere on the docket today, Unity finishes fourth at the Sherrard tournament in volleyball. Rachel Rush was an all-tournament team member. She had 34 kills on the day, but Sherrard beats Unity, the host team, for fourth place today in that championship side of that bracket. Meanwhile, at Bushnell Prairie City Avon today, good showing for West Hancock, which finishes third. The host team ends up finishing fourth. that wonderful United team ends up winning the championship there. We've got good news for cross-country runners of all ilks today. On the boys' side, Hannibal takes 4th place as a team at the NCMC. The story here, though, as it often is with the Hannibal cross-country team, Brady Novak, who wins Hannibal's first conference medalist honor on the boys' side in a decade. So congratulations to him. On the girls' side, for the second time in 3 years, the Hannibal girls are your team champion, led by Abby Jeffries, who finished 2nd, Maddie Santee, who ended up finishing on the day, I believe, 4th, and Rachel Davis, who finished 5th. That is 3 all-conference runners for Charlie Newland's group, so congratulations to them. Want to pass along this as well at the Mid-State 6, Quincy Notre Dame boys and girls each finishing 4th today. Your low showing for the Quincy Notre Dame boys with Luke Watson with a wonderful showing, finishing 3rd on the day for all-conference honors. And I got to mention this. I know we don't do a lot of junior high school sports, but this is worth mentioning because there are a few that are as good as the Liberty cross-country team. They prove it yet again today with one of their best runners out. Liberty still manages to finish on the day in 2nd place at the IESA state meet, 1 point behind your state champion Tolono Unity, who had 124 points. Liberty had 125. Caitlin Obert from Liberty finished 4th on the day in a time of 11:46. And when we come back, we'll check in on the regional college docket for local football. Well, it took more than 110 minutes, but the HLG women's soccer team a winner today over Park. Fernanda Miachi, who else with the golden goal in that one? Also today, the Culver Stockton soccer team loses at home despite a goal from Quincy High's Kelsey Ruths. The Culver Stockton men's team loses to Mo Valley by the final count of 8-0. And in volleyball today, HLG splits. They beat Benedictine but lose to Baker in the Trojan Classic today. Let us also talk some college football. We hope to have these highlights for you tomorrow with Joe Morano. Iowa getting another fine day from James Vandenberg, the Keokuk product, in beating Northwestern to snap that losing streak. Vandenberg on the day, 224 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Wish I could tell you I had better news for the Fighting Illini in Champaign against the Buckeyes, who have not been good. The defense was really good for the Illini today, holding the Buckeyes to just 228 yards total offense and just 17 passing. Nate Shieldhouse, though, having his struggles with the interceptions today, and this one would set up badness. In fact, all 3 of the turnovers today by the Illini just netted an ugly disaster. This is Boone Heron back from suspension and about to tattoo you as he scores right there to give his team the lead. More from Shieldhouse. This time not his fault. Ball just fumbled away and dropped right here. Buckeyes take over again. Braxton Miller had not completed a pass for the Buckeyes until this point in the fourth quarter to John Stoneburner, which makes it 17-0. The Illini lose for the first time this season. Final count in that one was 17-7. Sorry, Illini fans. Wish I had better news. I do have better news, though, from Columbia, Missouri, homecoming against Iowa State. All sorts of goodness right here. First off, we'll start with little James Franklin in from short yardage, giving the Tigers a 7-0 lead. Too much soccer today. More to come right here. Henry Josie in from 1 yard out. That makes it 14-0 at that point. How about Franklin going to the air to Michael Agnew, just coming across the middle and doing his best T. Rucker imitation right there. Booking into the end zone for the score to make it 21-3. Tiger offense destroying Iowa State on a level they haven't destroyed anybody since, well, I guess Western Illinois. More right there from Kendall Lawrence right there going in for the score. Then it's Franklin picked off right here. Some interception issues today for James Franklin. This one by A.J. Klein. It's a pick six, 78 yards. No matter, the Tigers got things back going. T.J. Moe about to make his presence felt right here from the zoo, going in from 7 yards out to extend the lead out to 38-10. It was just that kind of day as the Tigers pick up the nice victory today, 52-17, to kind of get back on an even keel. And we'll have more overtime for you coming up after this.
Sorry, say that again?
I said I'll be quick then.
All right, thank you.
Well, coming up here tomorrow, Joe Morano has not only Quincy University soccer highlights for you, but your chance to see who is your Fraternity of Pain winner for this week. Also, I want to remind everybody to go to our Facebook page at KHQA and vote for the Hero of the Week for high school football. Week number 8 now in the books behind us, which reminds me, next week right here, huge Saturday, Selection Saturday in Illinois. Hopefully have Palmyra playing for a state softball championship. We've got soccer going on with Quincy High, Quincy Notre Dame. All sorts of goodies. Central Southeastern football looking to go undefeated. Illinois College. Where else are you going to go? Come right back here next Saturday for a huge, maybe the biggest overtime of the year. Other than that, we'll see you on Monday with Sensational 7 and all sorts of goodies. I'll see you then, everybody. Have a great weekend.
You first.